Well, and she'll be back. She'll be back once the election is over. She did what was in the best interest of our family too. And I can tell you, last Sunday I was back home for spent a few hours with my children. You know, they're 13 and 12, walking through neighborhoods in Virginia, another key state, and just knocking on doors. And I'll tell you, to have my family be part of that meant so much to me, because this really is about our families and our futures, isn't it?
And this is about total history. One thing I have experienced and I loved about this president, this administration, that benefited me personally. Your children going to college, and they get that student loan. And before I went to college, I had to work and took a financial aid and work in school, in the libraries and in the cafeteria to pay for my books. Now, our children can stay on our insurance while they finish schools. I mean, explain this to us in finite style. Tell us what this president have done for middle-class folks.
Well, it makes, you put your finger on it, makes such a difference. And with the cost of college and, you know, continuing to increase in graduate schools, is so much more expensive than when I went to college and law school. But still, it would be out of reach for so many young people. But this president doubled the size of Pell Grants, and with respect to student loans, right? This president worked to make sure that these subsidies that the banks were getting, right, just to administer these loans as a pass-through, as a middleman in a sense, that was eliminated, and the savings went back to reducing the loan rate for students. But no question about it, this president has been for education. He understands, as does the First Lady, and he speaks about this so eloquently, what a difference education and support that he got in grants, they got in grants and loans, helped them be able to become President First Lady of the United States. And that can happen for any of our children, but they got to have the opportunity first. And there's, again, a stark difference between these two in terms of support for education and education funding and priorities.
Mr. Johnson, in closing, just tell us how important this election is for the entire United States, but particularly for our community, being Caribbean folk.
Well, because, you know, we've come very far, but we still have so far to go. And 4 years was not going to, as President Clinton, as you mentioned, my former boss, said so well at the Democratic Convention, what this president inherited, no president could have fixed in just 4 years, even with the great record, of course, that President Clinton had with regard to the economy. But that we're on the right track. But if we turn back and go backwards, we've seen what that can mean in terms of devastation, people losing the value in their homes, losing their homes. You know, I went to school in the state of Michigan, at the University of Michigan for law school. If Detroit had gone bankrupt, wouldn't just have been about the auto industry. You know, it would also have been about the small businesses, and not just those that supply, you know, products and for automobiles, right? But also the barbershops, right, and the beauty salons, all of these small businesses. So it's just so important to have a president there who is fighting for the middle class and who will continue to fight for the middle class. We know what this president's all about and what he will do.
And of course, we give thanks for his intellectual strength, because he said last night to Mr. Romney, you said that you would have let Detroit go bankrupt without any government assistance. And he did say that.
That's right, he did, and he reminded him, and there was Romney trying to change his position again and say, no, I didn't, but it's on the record. It's very clear what he said. And whether his father was, you know, ran an auto company or not, this is about Mitt Romney and what Mitt Romney said, and what he would have done, and all the jobs and all the families that would have been devastated. And we know what the auto industry jobs have meant, especially for our communities, in terms of middle class status and being able to send kids to school. Oh, you know, now you go back to Detroit, you go to Ohio, you go to other states where the auto industry is so important, and you see the difference.
Mr. Bradwick, we give thanks. I must tell you, it has been my pleasure, one that I can hardly begin to measure. And I must tell you, we're looking forward to hear your voice again before the election to encourage our community that they should participate and go out and vote.
Anytime. Anytime. Be glad to come back on, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson. Hype FM, the right FM, your Carrigobian orientated station in Dayton, Broward County, to the world. Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. All right.
Every time.